guy Wardy here, and I'm amped up. It's 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and I don't care. I was there in attendance at what was one of the best wins yet this season yesterday. 13-3 after down 3. The Mets blow the lead to Harrison Bader in the 8th inning because Ryan Helsley is sadly a bum, but it does not matter. You get a hit. You get a hit. You get a hit. Brandon Nimmo, more like Brandon Nimmo, walking it off with the opposite field base knock. How we doing, everybody? The Mets take down the Philadelphia Phillies, and they secure the series victory and this nail-biting 6-5 ball game. Edwin Sugar Diaz, the human highlight reel. You step up, and you're going to strike out if you're a Philadelphia Philly. This Mets offense did exactly what they needed to do yet again, and for what feels like the first time in forever, the Mets walk off a ball game, and they just secured easily their biggest series victory that they've had yet this season. The Mets just gained 2 full games here in the NL East. Do I think they're still likely to win the division? No. But do I know that the Mets' chances are greater now than they were 48 hours ago? Yes. And that's a very encouraging thing. The momentum back on the boys' side. The rally vibes. You're getting something cooking here. Mark Vientos. Oh my goodness gracious. Every single night with this man. Pete Alonso said it's about time I step up. Juan Soto with the base knock up the middle. Again, Ryan Helsley. Batting practice. He shouldn't have been in today. Tyler Rogers only threw 7 effing pitches. Should have been in that 8th inning. We're going to talk about what I didn't like about Monday today, but we're here to also talk about what was so brilliant, what was so important with this walk-off victory. Spam those W's in the live chat as you guys chime in live on a replay for our latest Mets postgame show, an excited postgame show as the Mets take down the Philadelphia Phillies here, and this is presented by our amazing sponsors at Moomoo, the official trading platform of the New York Mets, but we'll get into them later, as well as SeatGeek. Utilize our promo code for WardyNYM. That way you too get 10% off your next ticket purchase. Folks, Jonathan, Mets top pitching prospect, makes his debut, toeing the rubber this Friday at Citi Field against the Marlins. Make sure you utilize our promo code WardyNYM at SeatGeek. That way you too can get a nice discount so you can be in attendance for that magical game this Friday. It's going to be electric. The vibes are finally here. Francisco Alvarez has no pain in his thumb right now. Jonathan's getting the call. Brandon Sproat's inevitably coming up soon as well. The vibes are finally starting to vibe, everybody. What have we been longing for? What have we have been crying for? It's been for something on the rally front to get going for this Mets team. I broke this down at great length yesterday as I was in the New York Post studios there with my guy Brandon London. I'm going to show you a clip later on in this live show because I think it's very valid. I said in order for the Mets to finally get the vibes going, they need a late game rally. They need a retaliation. They need to do it especially against their arch rivals, the Phillies, who headed into Citi Field with the full mindset of saying, we want to curb stomp you. We want to make sure that you have no chance of winning the division. But no, instead, the Phillies are now 0-9 in their past 9 games at Citi Field. I know my guy Broads Media, who's like the version of me for the Phillies, is losing his effing mind right now. Make sure you check in his post-game content. Make sure you guys check into the local coverage there for the Phillies post-game coverage. They do a hilarious job. I'm sure they're losing their minds right now. It's deja vu all again. It does not matter the status of this Mets team. You bring Philadelphia into Citi Field, and we're going to show you who the big boys are. This is why we have never been shaking in our boots all year long about the Phillies. Even when the Mets lost their last series of Phillies, we weren't shaking in our boots. We had so many flaws. We knew the issues that we had. Now, obviously, Philly's a little vulnerable. No Zach Wheeler the rest of the season. Take advantage. Pounce. You're facing your former friend, now foe, in Taijuan Walker tomorrow. Pounce. Noah McLean on the bump. Pounce. I want to see a series sweep against these sorry Philadelphia Phillies. This is what we need. This is what this team has been dying for. Get the hype going. Get the vibes going. Don't hold anything back right now, everybody. We're going to let it rip in a second with the jingle. But before we do, shout out to John Tudaha. Go Mets, baby. We got Dave Kaplitz, Tudaha. Great walk up, but Helsley has to go. I know we're going to talk a lot about Helsley. Don't you worry. My guy, $5 knew Bader was going to torch us. But as Keith said, the Phillies are overrated. They are overrated. I'm so glad that Keith said that pregame today to the guys, Connor and Joe at the Mets Stuff podcast. Not Mets Stuff, I apologize. The Mets pod. I always get them tongue-tied because whenever you have a name Mets in relation to your podcast name, I'm going to get them confused. So my apologies there. But yeah, listen, they are overrated in certain aspects. Yoan Duran, more like Yoan Bum. Edwin Diaz goes 1.2. Shuddy strikes at almost every single batter he faces, if not every batter. Durant's first time at Citi Field as a Philadelphia Philly closer showed exactly why Phillies fans should be shaking in their boots if we match up again in postseason. This is far from over. This has 2.0 of 2024 NLDS written all over it. Make your story, rewrite your season. This is what the Mets are finally starting to do. Frank Sessa with a 2 hala. Way to go indeed, my guy. Steve Law with a 2 hala. Phillies are 7-23 in their last 30 games at Citi Field. It's their house of horrors. Love to see it. Oh my God, does that feel nice to finally see a house of horrors in favor of the Mets for a change versus it being contrasting the other way around, like every time they go in Atlanta, for example. We got my guy Unk with a 2 hala. Durante's nuts. That's hilarious. Thank you so much for the donation. Everybody chiming in live at a replay. Do not hold back. Juliet, thank you so much for gifting Bobby G a membership in here. That was really kind of you. Keith with a $10 hala. Unreal win. That's where the 10 spot is. Share my excitement. You're too kind, Keith. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it a lot. One question I texted my buddy after the 7th that said, I would have absolutely threw Tyler Rogers back in there. Buddy had his first 2 outs in the first 2 pitches that he threw. He had 7 pitches in the 7th. Yet for some odd reason, Carlos Mendoza said to himself, Tyler Rogers just threw 7 pitches. Ryan Helsley, who's been far and away our most unreliable acquisition, let's go pitch him in back-to-back days when that hasn't worked once this year. But let's go ahead and do it today in a tight ball game, only down by 2 against the Phillies. Sometimes, again, reality and common sense just does not hit your Mets skipper the way that's supposed to. And that was evident that we saw there that 8th inning. I'm going to talk a lot about it. Don't you guys worry. Let me get to these quick, and then let's get to the jingle. SR with a 5 hala. The Mets bullpen throw, the Philly bullpen below. Love to see it, SR. Thank you for that. Nicholas, 5 hala. Let's go, Mets. Just woke up my whole house. I'll love to see it. This is how our lineup is supposed to be. Friday for Tom. You'll be there. That's awesome, my guy. I hope you have a blast. Make sure to use our promo code WARDY10 if you guys plan on attending Friday's game. Mets on the Phillies. Now it's our turn. Shout out my Dodger fan in here, Mr. President. We appreciate you. Matthew, 5 hala. If y'all are ready for McLean tomorrow and Tom on Friday, give me a hell yeah. Guys, say it with me. We're going to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown. Ready? A 3, a 2, a 1. Hell yeah, I'm so amped up to see back-to-back days of McLean, of Tom. I'm salivating at the mouth right now just thinking about it, guys. I am. And when we talk about what was an amazing victory, again, another day where Sean Manaea is showing you that he doesn't have it. Now, of course, they have to run. Yeah, that's not. Well, let's look at the lineup in the meantime. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the lineup. Did I flip-flop them? If I flip flop, no, they're both the same. That's fine. All right, guys. This is the Mets lineup. This is how the ball game ended, mind you, and it comes down to the heroics. Brandon mother effing Nimmo stepping up exactly where you need him to. Makes it a 6-5 ball game. He walks it off in this one. But the Polar Bear, a absolutely insane 4-hit game. Mark Vientos just getting the job done. Brett Beatty coming in for him and getting a bloop single in the 9th inning. Why? Because Brett the Hitman is an absolute dog. The kids are producing the bottom of the order. The Fab Four is just getting enough done at minimum. Lindor had a solid game today, everybody. And on the pitching end, there was plenty to take away in this one. Again, another day where the Simone Southpaw and Sean Manaea did not have it, and this is concerning. I hate the fact that this is yet another outing where Manaea can't even give you 5 innings. Like, this is not sustainable. Regardless of the fact of what his actual performance was today, it doesn't change the fact that Sean Manaea needs to be more reliable than what he has been. And this is what happens when you don't have a proper spring training ramp up, when you have a loose body and your elbow. All these things are not ideal. And shout out as well, if you guys haven't seen the shirt, we got a little Sports Illustrated Mets shirt that we're rocking. Shout out my guy Dave Kaplitz for saying this my way, if I'm not mistaken. Always appreciate that. But the Simone Southpaw did not get the job done today. But guys, Gregory Soto, again, he came in when you have to say to yourself, did you like that pull by Sean Manaea? I kind of did at the time, but he was also cruising until he wasn't there until that 5th inning. It's still that 4th or 5th inning. It's his demise, like many other starters. Gregory Soto, unfortunately, allowed the contact that allowed to those runs happening. Huascar Brosnan was kind of as advertised. Tyler Rogers is amazing. I love him. Re-signed him yesterday already. Ryan Helsley, batting practice. Edwin Mother effing Sugar Diaz. 4 punchies, 1.2 innings. What a bulldog, everybody. Now, folks, we got to let it rip as we always do. Let's get this all set up here because I want to make sure this looks all good and dandy exactly how I want it. For each and every one of you, we're going to pull this up. We're also going to pull this up. And we're also going to go ahead and let me find it. It should be around here. We got this one and we got this one. All right, guys, let me grab the one final missing piece of the puzzle. after every big victory throughout the course of the 162. And thank you so much, Pat, for the donation. Is it bad for me to go watch bros cry? No, I think that's very much a therapeutic thing to do as a Mets fan. Same way Phillies fans chime in when we get our teeth kicked in. It's going to happen, right? So thankfully the Mets are on the winning side in the series right now. But after every big victory throughout the course of the 162, we got to let it rip with the one, the only, the Lobster Edition. If you know, you know, this is our rally. This is our grimace. This is our whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's working. Lobster Edition of our WardyNYM post-game jingle. Let's have ourselves a night, boys. Let's lock the heck in. Let's do this.
Post-game. Post-game. Calling all Met fans, come and join us now. Talk about this game and gonna break it down. It's Mets post-game.
Shout out to my guys, Greg and Jordan, as always, with the WardyNYM post-game jingle. If you guys don't know the inside joke on those lobsters, that goes back north of 2 months ago when I was on vacation, and the wall behind me had a lobster display like that. And I brought one back home from the decor on the wall because the Mets were on a heater when I was covering games at that time. I did not utilize that lobster for the ensuing weeks when getting back home, even though I had it just collecting dust. And the Mets have their losing ways. They lost 14-16. So I think it only logically makes sense that clearly it's because the lobster wasn't a part of the equation up until now again. So there you go, guys. The lobster is back in the groove of things. Jesus Luzardo gets ejected from this ballgame as he leaves, yapping his big old mouth. Get out of here, you schmuck. Mac Dodd with the $5 holla. Philly weak sauce pulling Luzardo early when they're when they got tough. Where did the attitude go? Yeah, there isn't the attitude like there used to be. You're 100% right. They're soft, very soft is the vibe we're getting right now. Well, Duran was not hungry like the wolf. He was not. That's funny. Thank you so much for the donation. Love the wordplay there, everybody. Spam that like and subscribe on your way in, guys, and let me know exactly how you're feeling. What is the temperature check and what is the confidence level as a Mets fan that you guys feel after the Mets just went ahead and did what they did tonight against the Philadelphia Phillies? Not only was this a statement victory, this was a statement series, and it could not come at a more important time. A Mets team that rolled over and had themselves a 500 road trip against two bottom feeders in the National League East, not the Marlins, who they faced starting up until Friday, but no, we're talking about the Atlanta Braves. We're talking about the Washington Nationals, teams that the Mets are supposed to be winning series against. They couldn't handle comfortably whatsoever. The Mets now back at home. The vibes are electric. It's a sold-out crowd basically every single night during the week here against the Philadelphia Phillies. It's rivalry night. How can it not be? And the Mets go out and they show out exactly why they are the biggest threat here in the NL East. Say what you will about this Phillies roster on paper. It's brilliant, don't get me wrong. But when you have a man in Swaggy V, Mark Vientos, a.k.a. the father of the Philadelphia Phillies, constantly dominating the way that he is, I'm sorry, who has shown up this series versus who hasn't, right? We'll see if Bryce, Schwarbo, etc. step up tomorrow in the series finale against the young Noel McLean, or if they don't do anything, will they step up in Philadelphia when we have that big 4-game set? It's very possible. I know the vibes are going to be against us, but the Mets also know how to win in Philly. They did it fairly well that we saw in the NLDS last year. So they're not one of these teams that can't go into that playoff mentality. I think these boys are locking the hell in right here, right now, exactly when they need to. This is the kind of playoff atmosphere that this Mets team needed to lead them ultimately to victory. And look at Alonso. Was he doing a little choke notion there? Granted, if he was, I hope he doesn't do that again because that was before the Phillies and Bader rallied back in this ball game. But guys, we're feeling electric. We're feeling good. Let me know exactly the temperature check as to what your initial reaction and vibes are to tonight's huge walk-off series victory against the Philadelphia Phillies by a final score of 6-5. Tondomania running wild Friday. Let's go. I'm so amped up for Tondomania. You got no idea how amped up I am for Mr. Jonathan, how amped up I am for everything else happening here in Metsland, everybody. We're going to get into all of it right here, right now in just a second, guys. But before we do, again, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on your way and help us get to 35,000 subscribers. We're less than 500 subs away, and we're giving away a new Mets jersey of whatever player you want on the team. Could be a Jonathan jersey if you have interest, guys, to one lucky subscriber. And all you need to do is subscribe to the platform, help us get a 35K. Once we hit that new latest milestone, we'll be giving away a jersey approximately a week from that point. That'll keep you guys posted and updated on the community tab. We just gave away a jersey over the past couple weeks. It's still processing, so that should hopefully get to him sooner rather than later. So again, if you guys want to get in on these giveaways, just hit those buttons. It's a great way to support the channel. We're the largest Mets platform here on YouTube that covers the Mets daily, post-game shows, reactions, analysis, breaking news like the Jonathan call up today, which I got a text right around 2:20 today that was happening, but my schmuck self did not get things prepped ahead of time because I'm honestly running on nothing. From the time that I got home late last night from the Mets game, going from New York back to PA because I do a lot of public transit to then take the drive from Secaucus back home there, I did not get any shut-eye whatsoever. So I was in a daze. My dad earlier says to me, Ty, did you see what happened with Ton, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like half asleep on the couch. And then I pull up my phone. I was like, mother effer. I wasn't mad about Ton getting the call up. I was just pissed because I was like 20 minutes behind when I knew about it hours in advance. My buddy, who again has strong sources, confirmed it with me. I said, okay, do you have any idea when it's going to be made official? He said, no, I don't. So I said, okay, I'm going to go and get this prepped as soon as I can. I didn't do it soon enough, clearly. I'm a schmuck for that. But if you guys want to check out our Jonathan breakdown, make sure you do, that we have from our live show that we did a little bit earlier. But we can talk more on Jonathan before we wrap up the show. As you guys can see here, Jonah, who is now going to be towing the rubber for the Mets this Friday, at 113.2 innings between AA and AAA this year. The top pitching prospect team by many in baseball right now. 179 strikeouts, more than any other pitcher in the minor leagues, at a 1.43 ERA, including 2 dominant scoreless outings in Syracuse leading up to his inevitable call-up. We broke down David Stearns' remarks, Carlos Mendoza's remarks, and our further reactions and analysis to Jonathan getting the call and our live show that happened earlier today. And if you guys did not check out my segment there with the New York Post, I implore you to check that out. I'll show you guys that later in the second after we kind of break down the ball game here. But I'm telling you guys, I literally said this verbatim. This is the kind of victory this Mets team needed to get on a run. And honestly, now that I say it, I'm just going to show you the clip because I think it's valid to show you before we actually break down the ball game. Steve with a $2. Show me that ton. I love it. Steve, thank you so much. Love the wordplay. Thank you again for the $5, my guy. Really appreciate that. Yoshimo with the $2. Once he has contained the 8th, knew we were winning. Yeah, the vibes were different. The vibes are certainly different against this Phillies team. It feels like no matter the circumstance, no matter how big and bad the Phillies are heading into Citi Field, the Mets are just going to have their number. And we have seen this happen against the Mets, not in their favor. Countless times in Atlanta, countless times in Milwaukee, countless times in Pittsburgh. Sometimes it doesn't need to make sense, and other times it does. And I think it does make sense as to why the Phillies roll over so much in New York against the Mets, because they're the little brother in the rivalry right now. Let's call it how it is. Let's call a spade a spade. Since the Mets and the Phillies have both been playing good baseball here since Cohen became owner, the Mets have undoubtedly been the better team between the two when going head-to-head. That's continued going back to 2022 onward to this point. Outside of 2023, when the Mets were dog water, they've been otherwise electric against this Phillies team. They have been there to step up in the moment. They have known exactly how to handle anything thrown their way, and I love the fact that they thrive and revel off this rivalry and this playoff mentality, because I really hope that the juices are flowing just like it was the NLDS last year, because that is what I really think is leading to the Mets having the success that they're having right now. And I know you're waiting, Cosmo. We're going to get that hooked up for you, brother. I'm really excited, and I definitely want to hear from you once you get it, your reaction to the jersey as well. Maybe send a pic of you, and if you want, whatever you want to do. Again, you don't have to, but I think that would be a cool thing. Mario, how we doing, my guy? Happy to have you in here. I'll get to your dono if it's there in a second. Let's go, Jonathan. Absolutely. Yoshima, thank you so much again for the donos. I appreciate that. We got another bear down, baby. Absolutely. Mario, let me see if I missed your donation. I may have missed it, Mario. Oh, wait, here. Giant Mike celebration. Oh, my goodness gracious. Taking yet another L with the Phils. LFGM. Oh, we love the mics. We love the shout out Alec Bone for being such a stupid schmuck. Since that man decided to mess with the mics in center field yesterday, the Mets have been on an absolute heater. You have him to blame, Philadelphia, not the Mets. As we continue on, another L for the Phillies. LFGM also missed you yesterday. Me and my cousins were having fun at the game. No worries at all, Mario. We'll chop it up next time that we're there. I chopped it up with a lot of you amazing Mets fans out of the ball game yesterday. I'm looking forward to doing more of that here in the near future, guys. But again, hit that like and subscribe button on your way and get the vibes going here, everybody. Final thing I'm going to share with each and every one of you before we actually break down this ball game, because I think you guys are really going to appreciate this conversation. It's valid for those that haven't checked it out yet. I want you guys to hear kind of my closing thoughts from my segment yesterday with a post in regards to what this Mets team needs to do to turn things around. How can they turn things around, basically, is the greater question. So again, thank you so much for becoming a member. Scott Morelli, I really appreciate that. Welcome to the Mets membership. We're happy to have you join the community, brother. We are, again, the largest Mets platform here, covering the Mets daily on YouTube, and have been since its inception back right around 5 years ago now. I can't believe we started in December of 2020, with Trevor May being the first ever acquisition under the Steve Cohen regime. Yeah, here we are. I got the whole ticket situation figured out. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, the guy very, very happy to hear that. Thank you so much for relaying. Really, really happy. I'm glad that everything got settled on that front. So now, guys, let's get into it and let's share with your guy Wardy this little segment here, because this is exactly how I felt, and it became a reality right before our very eyes with my guy Brandon London. Listen up.
Did some double-digit wins in a row, consecutive wins, and really sustain that leading into the playoffs and maybe even more.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think it starts with the kids. What I mean by that is Mark Vientos, who had 27 home runs in his rookie year last year, was a phenom in playoffs. Defensively, he was a liability, but you didn't care because Buddy was hitting tanks every time out there. You get Brett Beatty, who's really looked great with the bat the past month and a half especially. Vientos has 4 home runs in his past 5 or 6 games. He's finally heating up. And this comes at a pivotal time for the Mets because right as they were getting their young, very vibrant catcher in Francisco Alvarez with a 1,000 OPS, batting 300 for north of a month. He may still stay with this team, but if he does, he's going to be injury riddled, which means you're probably not going to get close to 100%. Might be 70 or 80%, but that gap alone could take him away from performing great versus just being around league average. It comes down to the kids needing to step up in the bottom half of this Mets order there because they've been so sporadic all season long. Now that they're finally getting it from guys like Vientos and Beatty, that's been huge, but it doesn't stop there. What they need as a moment, if it's not going to be something silly like it's Sesame Street Day this Wednesday. Maybe they need Big Bird to be the guys he's thrown out on the mound. Who knows? Maybe he will be Grimace 2.0. But what they need on a serious note is to have a rally late in a ball game. The Mets are 0-53 this season when heading into the 9th inning, losing. I can't recall any team in MLB history that's done anything of significance when not having one single rally late in a ball game. This is what the Mets did last year. That is why they had that never say die mentality. Absolutely. They were resilient. They were bolting down first base just to get on there with 2 outs and grind it out to the next man up. They don't have that this season. And I think it's a Juan Soto home run in the 8th or 9th inning away from actually happening because he himself hasn't had that big moment the way that he has had in that 1 year with the Yankees, to a degree with the Padres, and most certainly there as a World Series champion with the Nationals.
All right, guys, and the final remark that I made in that is that hopefully the Mets can obviously take 2 out of 3 against the Philadelphia Phillies, and they have since done exactly that. So vibes are electric right now. We're feeling good. Again, thank you guys so much for hitting those buttons on your way. And let me get to this comment here or two, and then let's break down this ball game finally, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. Lock in, everybody. This is not going to be a rush post-game show. This is going to be an organic, genuine reaction to the Mets taking down the Philadelphia Phillies in a manner that, again, is more impressive because of the fact that you dealt with adversity in this ball game. Ryan Helsley gives you all the reason to be frustrated and want to chuck this mic out of my current hand, but it does not matter. The Mets offense not only retaliated, but for the second time now, or the past 3 to 4 games, the Mets actually responded a ball game after they themselves were down early, right? Yesterday, you're down 3-0, you respond back. Today, the Mets are down 2-0, you respond, you get the lead, you blow it, and you still respond and retaliate the way that you are. The Mets are slowly but surely chipping away and showing that never say die mentality that has really been non-existent for the vast majority of the season. Could not come at a better time, folks. As I always say, it's always better late, better than never. All right, guys, let's get into this. Clay's with a $5 holla. Hey, I needed this. My aunt's just got, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Mike. First and foremost, I'll be praying about your aunt right now. I'm so sorry to hear that she has the big C and recently had her godson unfortunately passed away. Oh, my goodness gracious. That is terrible news. Again, my condolences to the godson, and my sincerest prayers and thoughts are with your aunt at this very troubling time. I know it's not easy. I know everyone goes through those struggles when it comes to the big C. So please know that we're thinking about you, and thank you so much for going out of your way to donate here, to feel the need to do that because of how happy you are that there's at least something positive that's lit thanks to this Mets team when things have otherwise been kind of more doom and gloom for you as of late. Again, my sincerest apologies about all that. Thank you so much again for the donation, and I'll be thinking about and praying about your aunt tonight before I go to bed especially. Thank you so much, Clay. Really do appreciate that. As we continue on in here, guys, and thank you for the compliments about how I look there in studio and stuff. Get used to that. I have a feeling you guys are going to be seeing more of that in the near future, which is very exciting. We got a $5 hollow from my guy Cause. Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. SR with a $5 hollow. Just saw the replay. Rally Pimp was in the house. Of course he was. Rally Pimp is always going to be around. Mad Team Parents, $5 hollow. Bring up Dylan Ross. DFA Stanek can make Helsley be the mop-up man. I'm done with him. I know. It's so bad that we even got my guy Giraffe Neck Mark saying verbatim, let's just DFA Helsley. I don't care what we gave up for him. It's time to cut bait. And Ryan Helsley has now allowed 10 earned runs in a total of 11 innings for the Mets so far this season. He's been dog water. He has been horrendous, and this is the unfortunate demise of investing in what is a high tempo, a high velo type closer that needs the momentum to get going in an outing. It's hard to get that momentum and those juices flowing for a buddy that's being thrown in non-safe situations every single time out there. That was the risk David Stearns and the Mets took when they acquired a guy like him. It works for many relievers that go from a closer to a setup man, but Ryan Helsley is further proof that it is not going to work for everybody. And unfortunately, the Mets are dealing with the brunt of it. And I really, again, did not agree with Carlos Mendoza's decision to even have him in this ball game today. And that's something that I felt before Helsley actually even came in. When they announced that he was warming up, I said, this is not ideal. Why are you going to bring Ryan Helsley in a 2-run ball game there in the 8th inning when Tyler Rogers threw 7 pitches, mind you, and Helsley just pitched yesterday? If Helsley didn't pitch yesterday, I could get on board at least a little bit more, knowing it's like, okay, hasn't pitched in a couple days. We'll see how he does here. And I get it. You pitched him yesterday because you also were able to utilize him in what was a blowout victory for the Mets. But we also have to remember the context that, again, if he's winning and gaining success in a blowout victory, what makes you think that he's going to handle the pressure of being only up 2 to the same degree as he handled it yesterday? Those are two very contrasting things. So again, we saw in real time Ryan Helsley not being able to handle the pressure. It is frustrating, and I'm not happy to talk about it, but that is probably the one big negative that you could take away from tonight's victory, what was otherwise a massive victory for this Metropolitan team, folks. And the ball game there, let's get into it. Let's rapid fire break this down. This Mets team came to hit today. They had themselves, what? A 5 for 10 day with runners in scoring position. The Mets are one of the best teams with hitting with runners in scoring position going back to the beginning of July now, which is massive news when you consider the fact of how bottom feeder this club was for the vast majority of the season up until this past point of the past month and a half now. They're finally hitting consistently. Their offense is showing all the actual upside it has. Francisco Alvarez is working his way back. Jose Siri will be here eventually, and I know you're not going to get too much from the bat there, but again, you can never have enough talent on this roster right now. With the reinforcements coming and with this team now finally starting to turn it on, this is why you can have a sliver of confidence. This is why you can say to yourself, okay, if the Mets are doing this against the Philadelphia Phillies and they can at least handle 2 out of 3 against the Miami Marlins and have a winning homestand, then what is going to be the greater test for them is to how do they handle further games on the road. This Mets team on the road has been dog water. They're around 10 games below 500 on the road this year. They have not been good. They have not been good since the start of the year on the road, since they lost that opening series against the Houston Astros. So it's really going to come down to the Mets have brought the vibes at home. We've seen that more often than not this season. The fans have done a brilliant job on bringing that. But now it's up to them to dig deep and build this internally once they start to have their further road trips down the stretch for the remainder of the season, guys. This is a big series. The Marlins is a 4-game series. Thank you for reminding me, and that's good. That should hopefully be a 3 out of 4 game set there for the Mets where they can take 3 out of 4, I should say. But thank you again for relaying that. I do appreciate that. It's a new season. I hope that's true, Camp. I really do. This is the kind of thing that can make the vibes turn around for the better here in the course of the 162, everybody. But the Mets batted 500, as we mentioned, with runners in scoring position today. And the offense, again, came out early in this one for the Philadelphia Phillies. They got a single with 2 outs on Sean Manaea, but that's all she wrote as JT Realmuto struck out to end the inning. And the bottom of the first here, Juan Soto got on with a 1-out walk. Alonso got on with a single. Mark Vientos got on with a walk. It's bases loaded, 2 out for Brandon Nimmo. All Nimmo needs to do is poke a little single, and that's going to give the Mets a 1 or 2 run lead. Instead, he strikes out swinging the lefty-lefty matchup, and we're through 1. Thankfully, Nimmo, who did not have a great first at-bat today, stepped up and made up for it, redeemed himself big time there in the 9th inning. As we continue on, we see Sean Manaea with a 1-2-3 second inning. In the bottom of the second, Tyrone Taylor with a leadoff single, but we would see Tyrone, after review, everybody, it was overturned, and when McNeil batting, Tyrone was unfortunately picked off there, trying to steal second base upon review after the challenge was held successful there by the Philadelphia Phillies, and that has a 1 away. Then we see McNeil and Terren strike out for back-to-back outs for the final outs of the inning. And the third, Edmundo Sosa with his 10th double this season, but that's all she wrote as Trey Turner struck out and Schwarbo grounded out for the inning. At the bottom of the third, we saw 1-2-3 by the Mets offense. Nothing to show. In the 4th inning, Bryce Mr. Harper with a leadoff single, but thankfully Bryce is a bum. He's caught stealing. We get Torrens throwing his ass out, baby. And there we go. You're going to throw out Tyrone. We're going to throw out Bryce. Potato, everybody. JT strikes out. Alec Boehm with a 2-out single, but that's all she wrote. Mr. Contact King ain't going to do anything besides that. As we get to the bottom of the 4th inning, a leadoff single for the Polar Bear and Pete Alonso. Marky V strikes out, and unfortunately, we wouldn't see anything else happen besides a Tyrone Taylor hit by a pitch. The Mets were drilled at least 3 times today. The Phillies are schmucks. They were going headhunting today, and obviously I'm joking as I say this, but I appreciate the fact that the Mets took these hit by pitches and took advantage of it. It actually led to some runs scored in this ball game. As we saw in the 5th inning, guys, like all things, as has been the case with Sean Manaea since returning from his injury this year, Manaea in the 4th or 5th inning is going to crumble, roll over, and sadly die. We would see in the beginning of the 5th a Harrison Bader leadoff single because of course there was. Then we saw a Trey Turner single. Runners at the corners there, and that was after, mind you, there's already 1 out or so in the ball game. So you got runners at the corners. Here comes Gregory Soto. Gregory Soto comes in, and a wild pitch allows it now to have both runners in scoring position. Schwarber gets out with a walk. Soto facing his former team, looking a little shaken. Gotta be honest with you, he didn't have it today. Lefty-lefty matchups to face Schwarber and Harper, and you do nothing. You don't do anything that you're supposed to do. Well, you should have kept Sean Manaea in the ballgame in hindsight, because maybe he could have got himself a double play ground out to end the inning the way that Soto couldn't. We would see Bryce Harper with a 2-run single that would make it an early 2-0 lead there for Philadelphia. JT would strike out, but not before the Phillies would beat up on their former southpaw, Gregory Soto. And what Soto's been nails for the Mets, with the exception of 1 outing so far this year. This is now his 2nd outing throughout his first 12 to 13 innings in which he hasn't looked his sharpest, which again really hurt Sean Manaea more than anything, as it impacted Sean Manaea's final line today, as Manaea again could not get out of his own mess. And this one, everybody, Sean Manaea ends today's line with 4.2 innings of 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts. Love the strikeouts, but still a 5-year no length from Sean Manaea whatsoever. Without even hesitating, guys, Sean Manaea is going to be getting a 5.5 out of 10 grade from your guy Wardy today. Not having the length was his demise. I love the no walks. I love the strikeouts, but listen, Manaea can't get out of his own mess, and this is another outing where we can't even get him to go even a total of how many innings? Oh, I don't know, just a total of 5 innings. He was on 90 pitches when he exited. Could they have pushed him a little bit further? Yes, but I think the Mets are also still trying to be smart with their ramp up with them, because they do need to be cognizant about that loose body in his elbow and how he feels comfortability-wise. So, again, he might not love it, but that's kind of the reality behind the circumstance here. So, Sean Manaea, I'm going 5.5 out of 10 on my personal starter grade for him today. You guys let me know in the live chat and to our replay viewers, how would you grade Sean Manaea's final line today on a scale of 1 to 10? As we hop back into here, break down more about the ball game, JV with the donation says, I just peeked in on the Locked On Phillies podcast, and fans there are pleading others to troll your podcast. Oh my goodness gracious, that's hilarious. Go ahead and troll all you want. Come on in, you Philly schmucks. There's nothing better than Phillies fans coming to talk smack after you get curb stomped. Buddy, if we got curb stomped, talk your shit. We'll take it to the chin. Why? Because we're not wimps. The same way that we're going to yap is the same way that we're going to take it. Why? Because we're not hypocritical fans. If you are, you're a schmuck. But Phillies fans, on their high horse when things are going right, when things are going wrong, not so much. It's hilarious. I know that the entire Philly community despises me, and I realize that because I actually found on a YouTube short or a TikTok recently, like one of the most notorious Philly personalities clipping my reaction when the Mets lost in the NLCS last year to the Dodgers. So they were hate watching all the way through after they saw me just laugh my ass off as we took down the Phillies in 6 games. Again, I'll take it to the chin. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is, but I do find that pretty hilarious. Come on in and troll all you want, you idiots. Go ahead. Do it, please. It would be nothing greater than for you to actively give me money by you coming in, viewing, especially if you guys have your ads on and maybe you don't have an ad blocker or something. By all means, come on in. Come support the platform all you want. We're happy to have you. And we got awesome Philly fans in here as well. We got Philly fans that are actually respectful and ones that we love to chop it up with. Like win, lose, or draw, we're always having a good time with them. So it just depends on the schmucks that we're talking to. Jonah with the $2 holla. Mets must take 2 out of 3 against the Reds next weekend. That goes without saying. Nicholas, $5 holla. Wardy, my fiance, and I had a great time chopping it up with you yesterday. It was awesome getting to meet her, Nick. And again, it was great seeing you again. Our guy Nick here in the chat, for those that don't know, is undefeated at Citi Field this year, everybody. I bumped into him twice now. And what do we see now? We see not only are the Mets vibing, are they winning, but listen, I'm more positive. His fiance was reiterating to me yesterday how I should line up a little, basically, how I should be a bit more positive. I'm very doom and gloom and negative. I'm like, I'm just doom and gloom and negative when the Mets don't win a ball game for 2 weeks. Not my problem that they forgot how to play baseball for that long, and I got to deal with the circumstance of covering them every day. But great news, everybody. The boys are vibing. They're looking good. I'm a kid in the candy shop tonight. I'm not going to sit here and yap about everything wrong with the team. I'm going to talk about, for once, finally, something that's going right in their direction. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. My undefeated streaks lives on. Yes, it does, my guy. Shout out to you and your fiance. Love to see that. Really appreciate the donation again, brother. Hope you're doing well. Philadelphia Philly fans are some of the worst fans across the board in every single sport. Oh, they are. Philly fans in general are, for sure. As someone who lives just an hour out of Philly, I can tell you firsthand how they are. They're not all bad. I'll tell you that much. As someone who goes to Phillies games and is in that area relatively often, I do have a good time more often than not because I know what to expect with the heckling. It's kind of the same shit. Again, it's just common sense. Just don't put yourself in circumstances that are probably not going to go in your favor. Like, don't be sticking like a sore thumb of a one Mets fan and an entire section, the nosebleeds, when the nosebleeds are more the diehard fans, especially that are living and breathing with the team, attend every single game, and don't buy a ticket until the day of. And they're just trying to attend, absolutely get blitzed right as the ball game begins and let it rip to opposing fans. Don't be one of those fans that is not understanding of the circumstance when you enter an opposing ballpark. The same applies. I was a Knicks fan there in Philly last year when the Knicks kicked the Sixers out of playoffs. I was in attendance at that game itself there, and I was fine. I didn't have a lot of Knicks gear on, but I did have New York represented gear on, and other than some yapping and ignoring, that's all I had to deal with. So again, it's just the nature of the beast. It depends on who you interact with. Narvaez, thank you for the $5 holla. Hey Wardy, you may need to hang around the team in order for Helsley to pitch good. You mentioned that this is true. I've only attended 2 games this year in which Helsley has pitched, and those 2 games he had scoreless outings. He was brilliant in both of them. It was his season debut this year, and it was yesterday. So clearly I got to go ahead and attend more ball games. That way Ryan Helsley can get his head out of you-know-what. As we continue on in here, everybody, Francisco Lindor there with the single after the Luis Torrens hit by a pitch in the bottom of the 5th. Again, the Mets are down by 2. Juan Soto says, let's make it down by 1. And it would further continue from there. Soto with an RBI base knock right up the middle, everybody. Cuts the deficit to 1 here for the Mets. And then star-studded Starling gets on with a walk. It's bases loaded. Jesus Luzardo's pulled from this ball game. He's ejected at the same time. He's yapping to the ump because he's got his little panties in a twist. Here comes Oren coming. Kerkering, who's batting practice against the Mets in the NLDS, is batting practice yet again. I was so excited when I saw this schmuck come out of the bullpen because he has been dog water against this Mets team for the most part. Alonso ropes himself his 33rd double of the season, everybody. Love to see it. That gives the Mets a 3-2 lead. Marky V says, let's continue to tack on. He gets an RBI single because he's the father of Philadelphia, everybody. It's a 4-2 Metropolitan lead. Let's make it 5-2. Brandon Nimmo, sac fly, says so. And folks, the Mets are up 5-2. They take a 5-run 5th inning, finally breaking out big time here. Tyrone gets on with the walk, but that's all she wrote for the inning. As we then head to the 6th inning, here's Huascar Brosman. He gives up a single to Alec Boehm. Then who do we see making the gorgeous catch in the hot corner? Oh my God, it's not Brett Beatty. It's not Ronnie Mauricio. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's Mark effing Vientos. Marky V, who's had the bat going, who's been cruising. Now he's getting the hot corner defense starting to look good. Folks, he's locking all the way in. If Mark Vientos plays himself to the point that he's not a liability, or at least he makes up for his liabilities because his bat's so good, then we're not going to care how much of a liability he is. The reason why I've been saying all year long not to play him at third is because 1, he's been horrendous there, and 2, it doesn't make sense to help a player's development to sporadically play a young player at a position at third base and then DH. It just doesn't help his development. But again, last year, Vientos, was he a good defender? No, but you didn't care all that much because even when he had some of those errors in Philadelphia against the Phillies, he had not 1, but 2 home runs. Again, the man is just absolutely locked the heck in when he's right, and it looks like we are finally starting to get that over the past couple weeks of Mark Vientos. And now if Alvarez comes back, if he's heating up again, oh my goodness gracious, this lineup quickly becomes deadly. This lineup completely looks like one of the best in baseball as long as they're doing what they're supposed to. The fact that the Mets just scored how many runs against Sanchez yesterday, against Luzardo yesterday, 2 of the better southpaws in all of the National League, when the Mets are horrendous against southpaws usually, oh my God, the vibes are back. The vibes are back. They're so back. And Mendoza Sosa had himself a single and made it 5-3. I don't care. That's all she wrote there for the 6th inning. And the bottom of 6, we saw the Mets get a Lindor hit by pitch and his 24th stolen bag of the year, but that's all she wrote. Tyler Rogers with a 7-pitch 7th inning like the dog he is. A first pitch ground out on Kyle Schwarber. A first pitch ground out on Bryce Harper. Mind you, righty-lefty matchup doesn't matter. They have no clue how to read the summer reader. JT Realmuto striking out, Gorgeous slider down and away. I mean, I'm obsessed with Tyler Rogers. Signed him to an extension yesterday. That's how much I want this guy back for 2026. And the bottom of the 7th inning, it's a 1-2-3 there for the Phillies against the Mets. In the 8th inning, we would see Ryan Helsley come in, and this is the problem. After a Nicky C 1-out walk, it's Harrison Bader smacking himself his 14th home run this season. And Harrison Bader, who torched the Mets earlier this year, for those that don't remember, Harrison Bader kind of single-handedly killed the Mets in their series, I believe back in May, against the Twins. When Justin Hageman made his MLB debut that weekend, the Mets lost the game he made his debut because Harrison Bader was an absolute, he was a phenom. He was just, again, legging. He was so good on the base pass. He was getting so many extra base hits. He just torched the Mets, and the Twins went on to win that series against them. Now, a Twin, now even greater foe is a Philadelphia Philly. He would grind out a 7-pitch at bat until he got himself a forcing fastball, 99 down and in, and that is all Bader needed. He hit that bad boy 109 off the bat, 381 feet. That had to feel good for him, especially in his former ballpark there at Citi Field, where he lost his job basically on a daily basis to Tyrone Taylor as they battled it out in the second half of last season, heading into postseason play. But Bader would tie the ball game 5-5, everybody. Bryson Stott would a walk, and then we would see Marsh with a strikeout. Stott would steal his 23rd bag of the year, and we would see a runner at third for Trey Turner, but it doesn't matter, as thankfully he would strike out on a foul tip, which leads us to the bottom of the 8th inning, everybody. Lindor with a 1-out single. Unfortunately, a 2-out single, but that's all she wrote. Juan Soto struck out there on a 100-mile-per-hour paint inside on the biggest rat of all, back from his PED suspension. Unfortunate. Hopefully he gets caught again, that being Jose Alvarado, everybody. So that allows a scoreless inning rather for the Phillies as we get to the 9th inning. And the 9th inning, guys, at this point I got my thumbnail set up. I'm saying to myself, okay, the Mets are going to walk it off today. As long as Diaz can grind it out and get those final outs the way that he did so brilliantly that we saw in the 8th inning. If I didn't reiterate that enough, everybody, he struck out Brandon Marsh and Trey Turner as he came in that ball game there initially for Ryan Helsley to clean up his mess. Then we see in the top of the 9th, Kyle Schwarber strikes out. Bryce Harper strikes out. JT ground out, setting the stage for Yoan Duran, who's supposedly the best reliever, now the better closer in the NL East between himself and Edwin Diaz. Ask every Phillies fan. They're going to tell you that, oh yeah, Duran's the better reliever. He's got the better walkout. Guys, it's okay to lie to yourself, but you don't need to lie publicly as if we don't have any idea as to what reality is. Because reality is Edwin Sugar Diaz is the best closer, you could rightfully argue, not just in the National League, but arguably in all baseball this season. Duran is a dog, but Duran just showed how much he's a weak link for this Phillies team right now that has no clue, yet at least, how to handle this arch rivalry between the Mets and the Phillies. This was a wake-up call, everybody. Let's see how he adjusts there. Should he be out there tomorrow, or naturally in that 4-game set in Philadelphia, which I most certainly know he will be at least half those games, probably barring changes. But the Mets beat up on the former Twin now, Philadelphia Philly, because it's a leadoff single for star-studded Starling Marte. Mind you, it's a righty-righty matchup. That's what makes it even more impressive for Marte. Buddy's playing so good right now. Shout out Unk. Alonso with a single. Pull to the left side. Beatty bloops one in, coming in for Mark Vientos as he's getting the final at bat here. It's bases loaded, everybody. It's no outs, and it's Brandon Nimmo stepping up. Nimmo, who struck out in his first opportunity to succeed with bases loaded to begin this ball game. He would not miss it the second time around, everybody, as Nimmo smacks himself an opposite field single. That walks off the ball game. That wins the ball game. The Mets go on to win this one, like I said, by a final score of 6-5. How are we feeling, everybody? Hit that like and subscribe button if you guys haven't. It would really mean a lot. Help us get to our next short-term goal and our live show here, which is going to be right around of 300 plus likes to our live and recurring viewers. Again, we have north of 700. All you guys got to do is half you guys got to hit that like and subscribe button. And again, thank you kindly for that. It really does mean a lot. Don't hold back either, everybody. I want to know everyone how you guys are feeling from this amazing victory today. We have a lot more to break down in this one. Let's go, Wardy, the team, the time. Absolutely Smokey Dro. Thank you so much for the donation, brother. Hope you and yours are doing fantastic right now. Really do appreciate that. As always, my friend, thank you guys so much for the donation. We're going to break down more here on the pitching takeaways as well as the hitting takeaways in this one, even though I know I just flip-flopped them, but the point stands. Those are the proper templates that we're going to be breaking down in a minute, guys. But before we get into all of that, more on the numbers, the biggest takeaways from this series victory, my player of the game, player of the series as well, guys. Before we break that all down, let's answer Billy Dottie with a $2 holla. Past 2 games felt like 2024 holy. They really have. All it takes is playing the Phillies to get the vibes right. Clearly, that along with hearing from our amazing sponsor, everybody, at Moo, the official trading platform of the New York Mets. Listen up, guys. Moo. Folks, have you been seeing that big orange bowl that's making Mondays at Citi Field way more exciting? I'm talking about our amazing sponsor on the platform at Mumu. As the #1 Mets channel on YouTube, I absolutely love to break down stats, analysis, really getting into the nitty-gritty numbers, and that is why I love so much Mumu, because they do exactly that with that same analytical approach when it comes to investing. It's a trading platform with professional grade tools and premium research that other companies usually charge a pretty hefty price for, all come for free when you sign up as a customer with Mumu. But folks, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And thanks to Mumu's partnership with our beloved New York Metropolitans, all Mumu customers can get free tickets to any and every Mets home game on a Monday throughout the course of the season. That's right, folks. Free baseball all season long for the greatest fan base in sports. Not to mention Mumu Millions. If the Mets pull off 100 wins this season, one lucky Mumu customer is going to come out winning $1 million. And what's nuts about this is that Mumu has already given away $10,000 when the Mets hit first 25 wins this season, as well as $20,000 when they hit the 50-win mark. And when the Mets inevitably hit 75 wins, they're giving away $30,000. But as much as they love baseball, Mumu's #1 priority is jump-starting your investing journey, which is why they're giving the WardyNYM community up to $1,000 in NVIDIA stock just for making a qualified deposit and becoming a Mumu customer. So folks, what are you waiting for? Head to start.mumu.com/Wardy, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to join the Mumu community. Now, let's get back to our Mets. Oh, yeah. As Zach Flagerton is relaying in the chat, I agree with him. There's clearly something wrong with Helsley that's beyond just handling closer versus non-save situations. No denying that. This is not just a mental aspect. There's clearly something that's probably wrong mechanically with him to a degree, and it may very well have to do with, as you relay in the chat there, with his increased arm angle. I'm going to have to do more homework on that, but I wouldn't be surprised by that at all because Helsley's fastball is flat. It really doesn't matter, again, if he's pumping 1 or 2 on the gun, if he's 1 throwing meatballs, but 2, if you're getting a straight shot right down the pipe, it's going to be an issue because today's hitters are going to be able to catch up every single day of the week. So, yeah, again, the Helsley issue is not fun right now. It sucks that if he has not worked out the way that we have hoped, because we can all agree Helsley has the highest upside of a reliever out of all the relievers the Mets acquired at this year's deadline. There's no one that has greater ability to, I think, go in and dominate the way that Helsley can when he's right. The problem is, Buddy's dog water. He's constantly not dominating. It doesn't matter that he has the velo. He just looks like he's scared out there. He looks like he does not know how to properly attack the zone the way that he so confidently did as that start closer there for the St. Louis Cardinals, which really pisses me off because, again, there was one particular prospect the Mets traded away for him that I was not happy about, and that was Jesus Baez. And I know that Baez may not amount to anything, but he was deemed by many as one of the best true raw overall talents in the Mets farm. And he was making great strides yet again offensively. He's the hardest hitter in the Mets minor leagues up until he got traded along with Ryan Clifford. And while the Mets will be able to replace a guy like Baez, it just, if you're going to give up a prospect to that degree for this kind of reliever as a rental, the least you can do is expect that reliever to perform as advertised. And he hasn't. Tyler Rogers, he hasn't been perfect, but he has held his own. He has been the guy that we need him to be for the most part. When you look at Gregory Soto, he's far exceeded expectations. The Mets gave up a fraction in comparison to what they gave up for Ryan Helsley. So, again, it's just frustrating when you see that already. Hindsight 2020, I get it, but that's one of those circumstances where if we could have went back and changed, obviously, the trade for Ryan Helsley, we most certainly would have tried to go after someone else. And the Mets were in the market for Yon Duran, but the Phillies had to give up top prospect capital in order to make it happen for the most part. Nothing overly crazy, but more than what I think the Mets were willing to do. And for whatever reason, the Twins and the Phillies have this connection going between Max Kepler landing there this past offseason, Harrison Bader, Yon Duran. It's kind of the little Minnesota Phillies going on there in Philadelphia. As we continue on in this one, guys, because I want to relay a lot of numbers each and every one of you. Stephen K with a $2 holla. Let's root for McLean on this week. Absolutely. I'm so excited for McLean. You know it's good when we head into a series finale, which is a night game again, and you're hoping that they can go out and ball out. I think that they're going to ball out. I think McLean's going to be right in the middle of it. Shout out to my guy Vinny and your son Derek here. Really do appreciate that. Appreciate you guys watching and being supporters of the platform. Hope you guys are having a fantastic evening here on this Tuesday night. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. And again, Enzo, thank you so much for the kind words too. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your night as well, guys. We're not done here though. We got more to break down at Metsland. So let me go ahead and double check and make sure that I don't miss anything. Taiwan should be batting practice tomorrow, but nothing as a lock or a guarantee. We're just gonna have to wait and see on that front. Shout out to my guy Richie. Let me text him right now. Yo, yeah, baby. People were just texting me because they're watching the post-game show right now. I love to see it. Edwin Diaz, guys, 1.2 gorgeous innings. Let's give the bullpen a proper grade today because the starting was more the same of not looking good, not giving you length. But when it comes to the bullpen, they got the job done. They most certainly did for the most part. And Ryan Helsley, obviously a sore thumb, but Edwin Diaz, Tyler Rogers, they held the fort down for the most part. I'm going to give the bullpen grade. It's going to actually be up and down today because of the fact that the Mets gave up a couple runs in this one. Soto wasn't as sharp as at all. Brazoban wasn't great. Helsley wasn't great. So I'm actually going to give the bullpen probably similar grade to what I gave Manaea today. And we're going to go actually today, we're going to go 5 out of 10 on the bullpen. And the 5 is heavily carried by Tyler Rogers and Edwin Diaz. Without that, that's a 2 grade on the bullpen today because they just did not look that good. When you look at Soto, obviously Helsley, at least one of the new 3 acquisitions, and Helsley, Rogers, and Soto stepped up today in this bullpen. Because if none of them did, if they all rolled over, if they all looked bad, that would have been not ideal. Dodgers are up 2-1 on the Reds. Love to see it. This is what I mean. The Reds have such a gauntlet of a schedule that alone is why I'm instilled with confidence that the Mets will go out and hopefully win the wild card at minimum to secure that final spot, if not hopefully get the division. Because when we take a look at the playoff standings right now, the Mets are currently 3 games up on the Reds, and should the Reds lose tonight, then they're going to be 3.5 games up on Cincinnati, and that may very well happen as the Dodgers are looking to do Dodger things against this Reds club. The Mets now are just 5 games back behind the Phillies. That may seem like a lot, but they secure the series sweep tomorrow. That's 4 games back. And if the Phillies go on and lose their next ensuing series and the Mets win 2 out of 3, then they're 3, if not 2.5 games back. So slowly but surely, the Mets are now starting to chip away. But the only chance in hell they have any shot of still actually winning the division this year is really keeping this pace going. They cannot at all lollygag. There's no room for error. If the Mets go ahead and lose their series against the Marlins or split 2 out of 2, that alone could be their demise right there. So can't take the foot off the gas. Got to continue to pump it if you are the New York Mets right now, and for great reason. Now, as we get into more on the hitting, guys, this is, again, how the ball game ended, everybody. Let's talk about it in all its glory, because another quality day for the Mets with their bats. Francisco Lindor, 2 for 4 there, 264 average, 789 OPS. Juan Soto, 1 for 4 with a run scored at 251 average, 882 OPS there with the RBI. Star-studded Starley, 1 for 4 with the 2 runs scored and a walk, 289 average, 816 OPS. Pete Alonso, a 4 for 5 game for the Polar Bear. 2 RBIs, including that double, 264 average, 852 OPS. Mark Vientos, another big game for Marky V. Swaggy V, how we doing, baby? 1 for 3 there with the RBI and the walk, a 243 average, 710 OPS. Brett the Hitman comes in, gets a bloop single. That's all we need, baby. 1 for 1, 245 average, 739 OPS. Brandon Nimmo, 1 for 4, 254 average, 756 OPS. Tyrone Taylor, TT, another solid day, 1 for 2 with a walk, 215 average, 582 OPS. Jeff McKitt's more like Jeff McNope. In a day where McNeil provided nothing, it didn't matter, which is really encouraging because Jeff usually does well against lefties, but did not have an answer for Jesus Luzardo today. 258 average, 800 OPS. McNeil, though, has been brilliant in more ways than one for a good chunk of this summer now. I'm not going to give him flack today. Terrence, over 3. It's going to happen. We're on Terrence, again, you get a pass. You single-handedly kind of helped win yesterday in part with the 5 RBI day. You were a demon. Love to see it. 218 average, 602 OPS. That's what you got from the Mets offense, everybody. They out-hit the Phillies by 1 hit, and that 1 hit would be the difference maker. That 1 hit would dictate who won versus who lost. It's true, because as the Mets win this one 6-5, and they had an expected batting average of their 12 hits to the Phillies 11 of 298, as the Phillies had an expected batting average today of 265. So, guys, I think now what would be perfect time is to go ahead and see if we can either find the initial reaction to Broad's Media or the Phillies post-game show reaction. That's what we're going to go ahead and do. I think that this is a perfect way to kind of get into wrapping up tonight's post-game show to further break down and react to this series victory. Let's go ahead and do this Phillies post-game. Let's see if there's anything from the post-game that's up already. There's got to be something. There's got to be a clip. There's got to be a clip. We are patiently waiting for the post-game clip. So what we're going to do in the meantime, and this is free promo for this man. He has no idea. I don't even know if he knows me. If anything, he probably just despises me because I'm a Mets content creator. That's fine. But I'm going to give this guy his flowers because you guys think I'm unhinged when the Mets lose. You have no clue what you're about to get yourself into. You have no clue what you're about to get yourself into. But wait, did he drop the video yet, or does he wait? He probably waits too long. Ah, Broads, when are you going to drop it, Broads? Come on. You're not going to go live for this? You're not going to go live after your big bad Phillies get curb stomped again? Come on. All right, guys. Well, I'm giving him free promo because I think he deserves it. If you guys want entertainment as a Mets fan, this is Broads Media, guys. Are just right around the same amount of subscribers as here. Actually, shit ton of videos, almost 10K videos. My God, animal. What a bad man. But he's all Philly sports. Makes sense. This was him yesterday. Ranting. I'll just show you guys the first snippet of yesterday's show so that way you have an idea as to what to expect with how he will likely react for his next video that'll drop, I'm sure, later on tonight, if not tomorrow. Listen to this, guys. And this is a Phillies content creator that basically kind of does what I do, but for the Phillies and New York sports in general. He works for the local radio there in Philadelphia as well.
Media.
There's a difference between losing a game and then flat out pitched. You know how we always agree the Super Bowl finished 40-6? 13-3. 13-3. That was a fucking murder scene. This was the biggest game of the season. Bryce. Unacceptable. There's no other way to explain it. Orange gloves, black, blue, and orange cleats. Let's focus on the game. You could have blew this wide open.
That's just a taste. You guys can check out the rest because I don't know how many F-bombs or how unhinged he's going to go in this one. I want to be a little cognizant of the kiddos watching this, but that's hilarious. Oh, like it's great. I have a lot of fun. That's kind of my way of winding down after any big Mets victory. Now, I'm actually going to do, it's Tuesday. He's so lucky. One of my closest friends, his name's Jonah. He's my neighbor. We grew up together. Diehard Phillies fan. I didn't give him any shit yesterday after the Mets won. Honestly, because I was just exhausted. It was a long day, and I didn't feel like messaging him. However, he's sleeping right now because I know he has to get up for work tomorrow. So I got to figure out a really nice, heartfelt message to send him for him to read to begin his work day once he wakes up at like 6 a.m. It has to be something that's really going to get under his skin in regards to the Phillies losing. Just got to think of what. So I'm looking forward to doing that. That is next on the list of things to do before I wrap up my night. Send my buddy a little heartfelt message about how bad his Phillies are. And then we'll see what happens. I will be attending a game with him in Philadelphia when the Mets are in Philly for that 4-game set in September. And I'm really excited for that. It might be horrendous. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm sending him a voice note screaming, yeah, that's a good idea too. Bro's going to ruin his... 100% I'm going to ruin his morning. That's the goal. And the reason why I do this is because he does the same shit to me. He's woken me up with texts before of like standings, of screenshots of the Mets where they are in the standings. Like that's the dynamic we have. That's how we are every season. And I kind of love it because rivalries make sports. Without rivalries, there isn't nearly as much entertainment in sports, in my opinion. I think that's what makes so much things more entertaining than what they currently are. And I love nothing better than to see two teams battling out, thriving, peaking at the same time, all pushing for one common goal of winning a championship, let alone winning the division as well. So it's great. Like literally, I would be genuinely upset if the Phillies did not exist because I need them to exist so I have something to properly hate. The same way that's the vice versa that you could be said about Phillies fans and their feeling about the Mets. There's a true love-hate relationship that goes on there. You need it. It's part of the game. And without it, you don't have that moxie, you don't got that flair, you don't got the juices flowing the way that you want in these key type matchups, obviously. Just baseball's fun, but emotional baseball is more fun. And I think most can agree there. But guys and gals, that is about going to do it. Before I let you go, let's get into Wardy's player of the game in this one. That is undoubtedly going to be Mr. Pete Alonso. Massive day for the Polar Bear, 4 for 5. On the pitching end is Edwin Sugar Diaz because that number 4 held true from Alonso to Diaz, but this time not with hits, but this time in strikeouts for Edwin, going 1.2 shutty. Pair that along with my series standout to this point throughout all the games, and there have been a lot of key guys in this series, so it's really hard to pick just won after the Mets had their 13 effing runs scored yesterday. They did such a good job. But when I'm thinking about guys who have been consistently impacting this team on the daily, again, it's really hard for me to not think about Mark Vientos right away. He's been in there every single game, whether it's one clutch hit for an RBI, 2 clutch hits, having a nice play at third now. He's doing all the little things that we have been longing to see that he did so damn well last season. He's finally doing it, and again, could not come at a better time. What goes around comes around. No, Rose, I disagree. We've been doing this since we were kids. I get what you're saying, but this is nothing new. This is how it works. And a lot of times when he talks smack, yes, it comes back to bite him, but there are times where it doesn't, and his team will have success, and the Mets are just dog water. So no, I'm gonna let it rip. We gotta let it rip the same way that he's gonna let it rip to me when we're in Philly in 2 weeks, and if the Mets lose that game by 10, he's gonna rip me a new one. I know he is, and I'm just gonna have to take it, and I'll have to take it while doing our post-game show exiting the Citizens Bank Park. So we'll see, guys, but that's going to do it. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe on your way out, and let me know all your key takeaways and reactions to this big 6-5 walk-off victory for the New York Mets over the Philadelphia Phillies. I'll see you all tomorrow for the series finale. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. This is your guy, Wardy, signing out.